This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions in this video and comments on this podcast do not reflect or represent the views and opinions on this podcast platform.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight's topic, sibling rivalry. Okay, so as far back as we can go far back to the beginning of time. That's how long sibling rivalry has been in existence, right? The first recorded incident is Cain and Abel, which we all know resulted in murder. And then we had others that followed, such as Jacob and Esau. And then we had Rachel and Leah. And then I believe Joseph and his brothers. So that's just to name a few. And I'm pretty sure you can come up with some others that are current date. But that's bad. Let's talk about it. And let's talk about how it affects the family and all those that are connected to the family. So,
Kay has joined the meeting.
Itima sent you guys all a screenshot of the core contributing factors. Itima, you want to share that with the people?
Yeah, okay, so what is the main cause of sibling rivalry? Factors such as age, birth, order, gender, and family dynamics significantly influence these rivalries. For instance, siblings who are close in age may experience more frequent competition due to shared life experience, while parental favoritism can exacerbate feelings of jealousy. Sorry, guy, my accent kicks in.
I know. Got more?
Think that was it, big dog.
All right. So, some of this contributing factors is parenting, favoritism, age. I'm going to go ahead and say entitlement. That's another one, and I think that comes from, the birth, where the birth order.
Let's see.
Let's get into these questions. All right, we got Kiana, we got Itima, we got Patsy for the female representation, and we got Sean, we got Robert, we got Gregory, and pretty sure we'll get some others in joining us. All right, you guys know how this goes. Answer the question that's being presented. If you have any rebuttals, or if you would like to refute what is being said, wait for a break in the convo, and then give your replies. And if you can't wait, put it in chat. All right, Patsy's a little bit under the weather, so Patsy, feel free at any time if your throat presents a challenge to just pass. All right, and
Yeah.
that's what it is. All right, Patsy, we're gonna start with you first. We're gonna go right to you. Question number one. Did your parents ever compare you to your siblings? And if so, how did it make you feel?
I don't ever remember my mom doing that to us, you know? She knew we were all individual kids and yeah. So I didn't really feel any kind of way. It was just us fighting as siblings, you know?
Itima, we're gonna come to you next. Turn your mic on. As a child, did your mother ever compare you to your siblings? And if so, how did it make you feel?
No, I didn't get compared to my siblings. Um, no, I didn't get compared because my sibling is a boy and I'm a girl.
Duchess, same question.
No, I was never compared to my sibling.
All right, we're gonna go right to the guys. Robert, same question. As a child, did your parents compare you to your siblings? And if so, how did it make you feel?
There's no comparisons. It didn't make me feel no type of way because they never compared my siblings to me.
Gregory, so was you ever compared to your siblings? And just for this conversation, let's say the people that you grew up with, like your cousin stuff that you grew up in the house with.
Yeah, because my siblings are my cousins, and I just want to say we all have our own individuality, but somehow we all roll together, so there wasn't really no comparison of oh somebody did this, somebody did it. If it's one for all and all for one of us is getting in trouble, we're all getting in trouble. If one of us is doing good, we're all doing good because most likely we're all doing the same thing.
John?
No, I wasn't compared to any of my siblings. I was one of the older siblings. I was actually the oldest sibling in the house. So no, I never was compared to any of my siblings.
Okay. All right, that was easy. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Question number two. We're gonna go back to the ladies. Itima, turn your mic on. Question number two. As a child, was you and your siblings subjected to favoritism? If so, how did it affect the family?
Was that for me?
Yes.
Um, you said favoritism?
Yeah. Was you
Yeah,
and your siblings subjected to favoritism? And if so, how did it affect the family?
yeah. Um, yeah, my mom played favoritism with my brother. Um, and it affected me coming up. Um, because basically I felt like he was loved more. You know what I'm saying? Um, I had to do everything for him. There was things I needed to do for him and I was younger, you know? I felt like the ugly duckling, but you know what I'm saying? It affected me growing up. Um, things I had to work on older now before my kids came in my life. You know what I'm saying? But it helped me out because this is why I'm the parent that I am today. I don't play that with my kids.
Patsy, were you and your siblings subjected to favoritism? And if so, how did it affect the family?
I think to some extent, my sister might have got favored by my mother a little bit, but I think that was due to like her being the preemie, and then she was the oldest out of the three of us.
Timmy has joined the
But
meeting.
not too much, you know. But I think me and my sister really favored my brother because he was the baby. See, he got favored a lot by us, but then he also got picked on by us the most. So yeah, and so it didn't. I don't think I really felt any kind of way. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know, because I didn't take it with a grain of salt.
Duchess? Yana? All right, we'll come back to her. We're gonna
Can you
move.
repeat that again?
All right.
No, I can't hear y'all.
Were you and your siblings subjected to favoritism? And if so, how did it affect the family?
No. Nope. So it didn't.
Let's go to Robert. Robert, were you and your siblings subjected to favoritism? And if so, how did it affect the family?
See, for me, I didn't pay attention to like who was being treated better than the other. I looked at it this way: whoever was doing the work for mommy or daddy got a little bit more attention than the other. So I tend to do a lot more for my parents than I thought my siblings was doing for them. So in some people's eyes, I might have got a little favoritism, but I didn't look at it that way.
Gregory, how about you?
I'm not gonna say with my mother, but growing up with my cousin brothers in my grandmother's house, I don't know if it's a back in the day thing and the light skinned people just get treated better than the dark skinned people, but that has rubbed off somehow in this film. I never felt no way about it because I already knew what was going on, but we all knew who would be getting treated as the favorite.
So your answer is what? Did it or it didn't?
That it did happen. That's what I was saying. It happened, but I don't know if it was a light skin, dark skin thing. You get what I'm saying? Deep rooted hatred of each other type stuff, like the color of your skin. So somehow that gets into the black community, if you understood what I was saying.
Got it. Sean, same question.
Growing up, I don't think I've ever really paid attention to if there was any favoritism because all of our personalities were different. But once we became adults and was on our own, um, out of the six of us, three of us know that that we're all treated differently amongst ourselves from our parents because of how we act as adults. I'm trying to answer without putting like the personal business out there. Like right now, Um, how can I say this? Like we as a family, we almost walk on eggshells with one of my siblings because that individual has a tendency to, and I think it's manipulation to where they'll disappear and everybody will be worried about it. So they're careful about how they speak to them, how they're spoken to, how they're treated, and all that, because they're quick to flip off the handle and get gone. Now, as siblings, we know what it is. We ain't losing no sleep, but it becomes a problem for us because our parents, they feel the brunt of that. If I answered your question.
You definitely did. You definitely did. All right, Timmy, it's on you. As a child, was you and your siblings subjected to favoritism? And if so, how did it affect the family?
I don't believe none of that stuff happened because we all got the same. No one got more than the other. We all got the same. So I didn't look at it like that. It was never that for me.
I'm gonna answer this one. So I think that favoritism does exist. It did exist. It always has. It depends on who you're talking to and at what stage in life you have these conversations and ask these questions. Uh, I think that the ones that received favoritism, then of course there's no question, uh, they'll tell you it didn't exist because they wasn't affected by it because they had the favor. But the ones that did not have favor for whatever the reason was, and depending on what stage in life it was, yeah, their answers were going to be different. So, you're going to find in conversations that some things were done to certain children that offended them, and they're still holding on to them. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again: the inner child is a very sensitive psyche, and if you do not get that inner child the hug that it requires, then that inner child will remain present and have a lot of impact on your life. All right, so let's go to question number 3. Question number 3. All right, so question number 3, did you or your siblings have a sense of entitlement due to the birth order? So again, did you or your siblings have a sense of entitlement due to the birth order? Let's go back. Let's go back to the ladies. Patsy, how about you?
On occasion, my sister did, but she didn't do it that often because she felt like she was the oldest, out of us. But outside of that, I don't think any of us really felt a sense of entitlement because of our birth order, whether it's me, my sister, or my brother, even though, yeah, my brother was the baby, sometimes, and he got spoiled a little. But, yeah, in a loving way, though.
Kiana, same question.
No, I mean, Entitlements? No. I mean, I was the oldest sister and I grew up in a house with a baby sister, so you know how that goes. But there was no entitlements there.
Huh? Itima, how about you?
Entitlements?
Yeah, did you or your sibling have a sense of entitlement based upon the birth order? Did they feel like they should receive special privileges, or did they got special privileges because of the birth order?
Um, you can probably say that. Like my brother feels like he got entitlement. Yeah, he's older than me. He feel like he's entitled to certain stuff. So yeah.
Let's go to the guys. Gregory, same question.
I think that's the way the cookie crumbles, but I'm going to tell you the truth because we grew up kind of rough and everybody's kind of close in age. If the oldest person got to talking that, I'm the oldest, and it, all of us would jump. We would jump our older cousins. So down from bodega to Ashton to snacks, it doesn't matter who did it. It wasn't going like that. It wasn't gonna fly.
Huh? Uh, Timmy, same question.
What was
As a child, did you or your siblings have a sense of entitlement due to birth order? Did you feel like you deserve special treatment or special privileges because you was older, or did you feel like that the younger individuals got special treatment because they were younger? That's it, the gist of it.
none of that stuff didn't appeal to me. I didn't care about none of that stuff, so for me, it wasn't none of that. I never, anything that I did before my siblings, I taught them and shared my knowledge and know-how of things that I learned. So it was never none of that.
Huh? Uh, Sean,
Um, no, I don't think we I mean my sister, because there's like from my youngest sister, the youngest, there's a huge age gap from all of us older ones. And so she was treated a little bit different, but that was across the board. We treated her as the baby. Mom and dad treated her, so she had the special privileges no matter what. But as for the rest of us, no, we was pretty much equally treated. At least I can say that I don't think that there was any difference in treatment amongst us.
Robert, same question.
Well, in my mom's little household, entitlement. If you ever thought that your parents owed you something after all they have given and yet to give, you get nothing. You entitled to nothing. Your success and happiness for entitlement is based on you going out there earning it, not being handed or expecting that you deserve it. So those words you would have to have swallowed in my household because you're entitled to nothing.
Okay. Um, I'm going to answer this one too. So, question number 3. As a child, did you or your siblings have a sense of entitlement due to birth order? I'm going to go back to the other question, how I answered the other question. I think it existed depending on who you talk to and at what stage in life they're at, and you know, I feel like that we got there was a sense of entitlement. It was like unsaid in a sense. No, actually, because depending on who you was talking to, they let you know, well, I'm the oldest. And if it was the baby would say, well, I'm the youngest, And then there was some situations where it was just like, well, you don't get to do this because you're not old enough to do this. So you have to do what we tell you to do because of, the birth order.
Yeah,
So
that wasn't flying, Uncle D.
so if we're talking about while we was children, yeah, there was entitlement. Now, when we get to the adult stage and we want to talk about the adult stage, well, again, depending on who you're speaking to, that's what the answer is gonna be based upon. It's gonna stem from their personal experiences. And although everyone may have been present, but you experience certain things based upon how it affects you. And again, people that wasn't subjected to any type of mistreatment, they're not going to view it the same way as the individuals that were subjected to it. This is a good one. This next one is a good one. Everybody turn your mic up, take a deep breath. This is a good one. Ladies, turn your mics on. Let's go to Kiana for us this time. Duchess, did you envy your sibling as a child?
No.
Never no envy?
No.
Okay. Patsy, same question.
No, I was never jealous or envious of either one of my siblings. Because we were so different in personalities. It's like I am who I am, and that's it, and that's how we all perceived ourselves.
Intima, same question.
I wasn't envious, but at times I used to get jealous, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I felt like my mother gave my brother more love. So it wasn't envy, it was, jealousy used to kick in a little bit.
Let's go to the gentleman. All right, Robbie, as a child, did you ever envy your sister or your brother?
I can say as a child, I never did. My mom's did family things with us. We did picnics and a lot of other things. So when we had fun, or whatever you want to call it, the outings or the gifts, we basically got almost the same thing, or it was balanced to make sure we got the same amount. Um, to envy any one of my siblings, that's far fetched. I looked up to some of my siblings for some of the good things they was doing and have done. So no.
Gregory, same question.
Once again, one for all for one. So we never really was jealous of each other. Everybody had their own individualism. You might not be as good at something as the next person, but you might have your own thing that you're actually really good at.
Timmy, same question.
Nah, for what? I was the first to do a lot of things. So what the hell am I jealous of either one of my siblings? So there's no need for it. And in fact, I put admire all my siblings, their accomplishments and things that they've done in their life. I mean, what's there to be envy of? And everybody had good 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 vibes, and we all did the same thing. So what's to be jealous of?
Mhm. All right. Timmy, mute your phone.
That's Tanya.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she did it. All right. So Tanya, this is what we're gonna do, beloved, because I know you're out and about. So leave your phone on mute until I call on you. And again, if you have anything to say before then, just put it in the chat. All right, so guys, so everybody knows Tanya's out. She's celebrating her anniversary. 25 years,
Anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
25
Yes,
years of
sir.
marriage. You know,
God bless.
yep, God bless you.
Happy
So,
anniversary.
yep.
Eat 25 years worth of good food.
Mhm. Sean, it's on you, my brother. Envy. Did the green-eyed monster rear his head in your home? Did you ever, was you envy, did you have any envy for your sister or your brothers?
No, I did not, because again, I was the oldest, and I'm not the oldest, but I was the oldest at home.
Thank you, everyone.
Um,
Message.
so no, I wasn't envious of any of my siblings. Like, I'm like Timmy. I was the first to do any and everything, so everyone was coming up after me. Well, everyone, that was there in the house was coming up after me. So no, I wasn't envious. And I have been on any of my siblings.
New unread message.
Um, so I don't know if you guys are hearing this chat or if you see it, but Tanya said thank you for the well wishes. Um, so all right, Tanya, you want to answer this question? Did you envy any of your sisters and brothers when you was growing up?
Yes, I did, but I don't want to be too long because it's a loud background.
Uh-huh. Okay. You want to give us a quick answer?
Yes, I did envy. I'll try to put the details in the chat.
Okay, will do. Will do. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer this question too. Did I envy any of my sisters and brothers growing up? Nah, I couldn't have no envy for my sisters because they were females. I think that I probably wanted the like when we was growing up, everybody got in trouble if one person did something wrong. I didn't like that rule. The person that was excluded from that was my baby sister. She didn't she if all of us was being disciplined, she could have been present too. And it didn't have to be everybody involved that was wrong. It that was subjected to the discipline. We didn't all have to be wrong. All it took was one person. But she was always she had immunity. Did it she the same thing that befell us did not befall her. So yeah, I think that I kind of wanted to switch places with her in that sense. Well, yeah, Robbie said something about, Timmy said admired, Robbie said looked up, so it's the admiration club. I think in some situations, yeah, I did look up to my siblings, probably my older brother and my younger brother, and depending on the situation. Um, I don't think that I wanted to be them, but I think in some situations, if I was lacking the attention, I wanted the attention that they was receiving, as long as it was positive. I don't need, I don't want the negative. But like I said, I think I just wanted the
Tanya to
attention that I
everyone,
was
I
not
envied my
that
brothers
I was
because
not
my father
receiving.
was consistently at my father's presence. 2 unread messages.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys was able to hear that or read that, but Tanya said she envied her brothers growing up because their father was present in their lives. Yeah, yeah, that's certainly feasible. That is certain, because you want what's not there.
2 unread messages.
And again, the thing about that too, wanting what others have, you gotta be careful because it's not always what you think it is. Because there's probably some other things going on that we're truly unaware of, and we would probably be happy that we wasn't subjected to those other things. All right, does anybody have anything to refute before we go on to the next one?
Mhm.
All right.
Can I ask Sister Edom a question?
Yep.
And if she wants to answer, she can. Not to be personal, but the things that you said that you felt growing up, is that a the way that you had to be with your sibling, is that a cultural thing?
Hmm.
Because I've heard that in other ethnicities, that even though they were either the oldest or the, no matter where they fell in the family, they had to cater almost to
to
the
the boys.
brothers, to the boys.
Right. Yep, I heard that too,
Yeah, it almost,
Sean.
it definitely is. It's like in the
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, you know, they like they feel like the boys need to be catered to.
Right.
They shouldn't have to make the bed, and they shouldn't have to pick up a broom, and they shouldn't have to wash a dish. Like,
Yeah, no, I've heard that. My sister did that. She grew up like that, to where she has is 4 girls and 1 boy. And when I tell you, they all took care of him,
Yep.
to
Yep.
where they washed his clothes, clean. He had his own
Mm-hmm.
bathroom. They cleaned his bathroom, that everything, and he was of age to do any all that stuff.
You know what, Sean? I'm glad my mother taught us as her children. For the boys, she made sure that we learned that. Man, we do everything that they say a woman could do. Cooking, cleaning, we wash clothes, wash dishes, clean up. We sold our own clothes when our clothes was ripped. We did everything that they said a woman was supposed to do. So I applaud my mother, and I really, think that she taught us to do for self. And for our sisters, she made sure that you don't have to depend on the man. You do for yourself before you do for your man. So my mom was all around giving us information and knowledge of what we should be doing for self, not depending on someone else.
I agree. I second that. I agree with that. She certainly should be applauded for that because she did make sure that all of her children, despite their gender, had what they needed to survive in life. So, the essentials. So I agree with that. All right, here's another good one. Question number 5. Ladies, turn your mic on. According to research, improper communication leads to family confrontation. All right, ladies, let's get your perspective. Patsy, how you feel about that? So depending on how someone talks to you, the message, how they deliver it, the tone and stuff like that, do you agree or disagree that it can lead to a confrontation?
It can, but I don't think there was like a lot of negative stuff. When it came down to it, when my mother wanted us to do stuff, it's like it's my way or the highway, and that's pretty much the thing of it. But when it came down to that, we had either issues at school or whatever, or just in the neighborhood. It's like we were open to being able to express ourselves if we had an issue with something, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah. I don't I don't remember any real confrontations growing up or bad communication.
Okay. Intima, according to research, improper communication leads to family confrontation. So watch how you speak to me, because it might get physical. How you feel about that? And this is the siblings.
That's right. Talk to me with respect. How you want to get spoken to. Send the message correctly, or there's going to be a problem.
Okay. Kiana?
Yep.
Bird has joined the meeting.
Same question. So according to research, improper communication leads to family confrontation. And we're referring to the siblings. You talk to me like you ain't got no sense, it might get physical. How you feel? You agree or disagree?
I mean, I feel like that with everybody, not just family or siblings or whatever, but my sister and I have never had a physical confrontation. Well, we did once. That was the last time.
Oh.
um, uh, and we're close to this day. So no, I mean, yeah, we can have an argument or discussion and be like, okay, yeah, I don't know what that tone is or what that's about, but get it together.
Bert, I see that you joined us. You right on time. Question number 5. According to research, improper communication leads to family confrontation. So watch how you speak to me, because it might end up in a fight. How you feel about it?
It can eventually lead to that if someone doesn't really have the respect that's needed. I mean, I don't know. You ain't gonna I'm not the little guy you used to beat up and bully back in the day. I'm a grown ass man now, so I can get it, but I don't think it necessarily should lead to a physical altercation.
How about when y'all was younger?
I cleaned Danny up when I was younger, and that changed our whole relationship. I kind of it just took its course, and I got tired of it, and I had to stand up for me, and I had to clean you up real quick, and it changed our whole dynamic of sibling after I beat you up.
All right, this is gonna be interesting. let me go to Gregory. Same question.
What was the question again?
according to research, improper communication can lead to family confrontation. You talk to me crazy, there might be a fight.
And that's just with anybody. So that's just, I think that's a respect thing as a human. If you respect yourself enough, you ain't gonna let nobody talk to you crazy. So it could happen.
Okay. Sean?
No, there was as far as I was concerned, I've never had any altercations with any of my with my siblings. And not that I'm proud of this, but I used to think I was a tough guy outside, and they saw that, so they never challenged anything.
They say fair is lasts longer than respect. So that's what they say.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm that quiet guy. I'm
Well,
easy going until I'm not.
okay. All right, gentlemen, Timmy and Robert. It's on you. Let's go to. We're gonna let Robert go first. Robert, do you agree or disagree with this? According to research, improper communication leads to family confrontation. Talk to me, stupid. We might have to fight.
In in my younger days, there was grounds that you just don't cross. I try not to think that I can whoop all my siblings, but I know the way my attitude was and how I carried myself outside my mother's house. I mean, I protected myself, so I'm just not gonna let my siblings disrespect me. I'm not letting no one outside the door do it. So if I did have a problem with a sibling, I mean, I could say I had a problem with three of my siblings, probably, just from me being strong opinionated, me being voiceful. I might did not like something that they was doing or have done, and I spoke on it, and I might have spoke on it in a way that they felt they was disrespected. So that's when the disrespect came to me in return. So I could say I experienced that, but as I grew, I know just to hang up my telephone or don't answer a door.
All right, Tim. Do you agree or disagree with this? Improper communication leads to family confrontation. So if you talk to people crazy, it might result in a fight.
See, I was always big on not fighting family because family kill each other. So my always thing was do it to outsiders. Don't do it to your damn family. So, I never except that one time when you thought you was from Paradise Island when you know that shit was fake. I had to hem you up and shit to get you to understand that shit is fake, Dave. That you ain't from no Paradise Island. But after that, that was it. I'm all about what
My
you
phone from
say
the meeting.
your opinion and your opinion is your opinion. I have my opinion, and I'm right at the point of where you disagree or agree. But right is right and wrong is wrong. So I'm always, trying to make sure you understand the wrongness of things. Don't take it as if you know the right and wrong thing. So that's what I'm mainly focused on. All that other nonsense don't mean nothing to me because everybody, whether they're having a dispute about something, it always comes down to the right thing and the wrong thing. And in a heated situation, things can be misconstrued by, people not listening and hearing what they want to hear. That can turn into an altercation.
All right. Truth time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna answer this question again. I think depending on who you talking to and at what stage in life, your answer is gonna be based upon that. But so when I was a child, me and my brothers, we fought. I don't know what's wrong with their memory, but there's nothing wrong with my memory. Maybe they're suppressing some thoughts, but we fought. We didn't fight over. Now, I think that I probably had less squabbles with my older brother, more so with my younger brother. You heard Timmy say he yoked me up one time. I don't recall it being that way. I think he left some of the stories out, or some part of the story out, because he ain't just yoked me up. It was never like that. We fought, like I said. Wasn't no beating nobody up. Everybody did what they could do in that situation. Gregory said earlier where the younger ones teamed up on the older one. I that didn't happen to me. No, we fought, and as we got older,
Sounds like you lost the fight, Uncle Dear.
no, well, we should have had camera phones back then. Like I said, we fought, and sometimes it wasn't nice. And as we got older, by the time when we was teenagers, we fought, and like I said, me and my older didn't
That
have this.
fighting, you saying fight. I think we was just more like wrestling and shit. We was
Physical,
never throw. We wasn't
physical.
never throwing no
Nope, it
punches.
was
That's what
black
I
guys
call
and broken
fighting.
chains. I don't know
Nope,
which
That's
one.
what
nope,
I
nope,
call
nope,
fighting. You
nope,
throwing
nope,
punches.
nope. I'm telling my truth. I'm not living in no lie. We fought. There was some punches thrown, and I do remember so as teenagers because uh I fought about clothes back then. So I didn't have much, and what I paid for, you needed to respect that. That's mine. You can't just do what you want to do. So that was the source of our issues by the time we were teenagers.
Maria used to wear my stuff. I
I'm
didn't get
not
mad
I'm
at
not
her.
talking notice I ain't saying nothing about the girls. I'm talking about the guys.
I never wore none of your stuff. I couldn't fit it.
That's because behind short.
She sounded rather defensive over there, but
I never wore none of your
I
stuff. I
know
couldn't
another
fit it.
individual is being very quiet.
I'm
But
gonna chime on in, and I'm
but
gonna lay it out
You
like this.
definitely wear a larger size than
but
Could
me,
let
I
me
say
so I
this?
never wore none of your
let me
stuff.
finish. Let me finish before y'all refute what I'm saying. Now I want the panel to take what's the name. Y'all pay attention to this what's about to transpire. So let me finish. When we was teenagers, I think that's where it stopped. But because by the time we became like in our late teens, like by the time we turned 20, 21, there wasn't really no fights with the guys. There wasn't none of that. Robert was in his WrestleMania stage. He thought that he could beat everybody in anything. So at that point, yeah, he wasn't too many squabbles. Everybody had other battles. But go ahead, Robert, and give your refute. Hold on before you do that. Someone just joined us. Who is that just joined us?
Somebody so special.
Okay. Welcome. So this is what we're gonna do. Robbie, you go ahead and give your rebuttal, and then we're gonna move on to question number 6, I believe. All right, go ahead, Robbie.
I just want to say, as a child, we might have had little silly fights over other people instigating situations with maybe a young lady. But when we got older as teenagers, we had arguments that was supposed to lead into physical competition, but it never got there because the respect level for each other had to stop it, had to block that energy. Because although I might invited my brother outside at times to box his face, he didn't come, and no, I really didn't want him to. Because how do you turn back after you injure one or the other? You don't. So I don't look at the little children arguments or little tussles we had as a fight that affected me as an adult or growing up in my teenage life, because I wasn't doing any of that no more. I was too worried about being the glue in the family, the peacemaker, a protector.
All right. That's your story. You sticking to it. And we are
Sounds
going
like you was roid raging.
we gonna move to number 6. Ladies, turn your mic back on. And the new person, we definitely want to bring you into the conversation. So you're gonna have to turn your mic on to be heard. And if you just plan on just listening, put it in the chat. Let us know that you don't want to answer any questions. But if you don't, I'm gonna call on you. All right, question number 6. Itima, turn your mic on. Kiana, turn your mic on. Patsy, turn your mic on. And if the new individual is female, turn your mic on as well, because we're about to talk to the females. All right, ladies. Is it possible for sibling ridicule to affect your mental health? Again, is it possible for sibling ridicule to affect your mental health? Let's go to Kiana first.
I mean, it could if you're not a strong-minded individual. I mean, but if you've been getting quote unquote roasted by your siblings since y'all could talk, you kind of should be used to it. I mean, me and my sister talk crap to each other every day, but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It affects neither one of our um self-esteem or mental stability.
Okay. Itima, same question. Is it possible for sibling ridicule to affect your mental health?
It could be possible, yeah.
Okay. Patsy?
It could be. I don't think like with our family. I think we thrive on ridiculing each other sometimes when it's just talking a lot of trash talk. You know, it's not really ridiculing, it's just messing around, that's all.
Bert, how about you? Is it possible for sibling ridicule to affect your mental health?
I believe that is the foundation of your mental health is at home, is where it started. So I'm gonna say yes. If you've been called ugly by everybody in the family, it already's affected you outside, and you're gonna feel ugly outside because the place that you were supposed to be built up and you really weren't. So I believe yes, it can cause some friction in your mental health, or your hair ain't right, or you don't look like the rest of the kids. Or I remember when I was little, Danny used to tell me I was adopted, and I used to cry all the time. Like they left you on the doorstep and nobody loves you, and that shit was traumatizing as a kid. It was heart melting. So yes, it will. It can. It does.
iPhone has
Not
left the
some
meeting.
of our panels,
iPhone has
particular
joined the meeting.
situations, but theoretically, it does, because that's the foundation. Your whole beginning of being is at home at a young age.
That's some honesty. Gregory, how about you?
I think you know when somebody's actually serious with the ridicule, and then it might be a little different. But if this is happening to you since birth, words are powerful, and you thinking away and saying something to a person, you could actually turn that person away. You can't do that to people. You get what I'm saying? So if that's happening from the beginning, that's kind of crazy to me. That person's gonna have some type of mental disability growing up. But usually, when somebody's ridiculing you, if you're a strong person, like Kiana said, you should be able to just let it in one ear and out the other.
Robert?
It definitely could happen. I mean, I witnessed it growing up with one of my siblings. They really felt that what people said about their parents was them being mean, and it probably made them start looking at themselves in the mirror a little bit different. And to this day, that one sibling still brings that up and tell us we try to make them feel a certain type of way by saying their nose was big, their lips were big, they look like Kumo D or so
Y'all
and
all got the
so,
same nose.
lippy this and bubble that.
KRS.
So that person did feel a certain type of way to maybe Jesus came along and smacked some holiness into his sense.
Okay. Timmy?
I think that you shouldn't. If you are confident about yourself, then what somebody says about you shouldn't matter. But I've seen people that when they was younger and people used to crack on them and talk about them, and then 5 years later, 10 years later, they see them, they like, God damn. And she was the ugly duckling in school. Now she look at her now. She stacked, makeup on, looking like a dime piece and whatnot. So
That's a glow up.
sometimes uh that type of ridicule can push that person to, I'm gonna show you, you know, I'm gonna show you that I'm not what you thought I was, just because underneath all that exterior, that you know the glasses, my hair was wild looking and whatnot, and I didn't have the nicest clothes and whatnot. But you know, once I transformated myself, you know, got my hair in style, wearing contacts, work out, got my body tone and all that, and I got nice clothes on. Now I'm posing, and the ones who said I looked ugly are the ones in your DM trying to holler at you.
Okay. Sean? Question number
Hit me,
6.
hit
Is
me with
it?
that question again, please.
Yep, I'm
Sorry.
gonna hit you with it again. Question number 6. Is it possible for sibling ridicule to affect your mental health?
Oh, definitely. If especially if you look up to that sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, Also, it depending on the dynamic of your makeup as well. Like, what is your We talked about this last week, like, the ridicule of a family member. Like, what is your self worth? What do you think of yourself? Like, do the opinions of your siblings even matter to you like that? But yeah, definitely, I believe that it can, because we hear the saying all the time that it's family over everything, and if they're critical of you, then dang, who do you have?
All right, I'm going to answer the question. uh, Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's what they told us. Yeah, that's a lie, because words can get you hurt. And that's what brought about a lot of our sibling squabbles. Again, I told you, careful how you talk to people, what you say to them, because it does matter. It affects their mental health, and then it could also affect your physical health, because again, you can get hurt. People say things, and like I say, it's offensive to the one that's being subjected to it. And everybody's laughing, they having a good time. And then this person, you see what happens to these kids today, they're very sensitive. They go and kill themselves based upon stuff that people say to them. And it starts at home, like Bird says. Family are the first, they give you your first, they show you love, and they're the first ones to show you hate. They model good and bad behavior all the time. So yeah, I think sibling ridicule can affect people's mental health. You have situations where it's reported that kid leaves the house, everybody's dead, only one left alive. You don't think that someone did something to that kid's mental health? That's how they get to that point. So yeah. So again, I think that go back to what Kiana says. If you're not strong enough to take it, yeah, I was. My tongue was sharp. I was very terse with my tongue. I could give it and I could take it, but sometimes the people around you, they couldn't take it, and then they wanted to fight, or they wanted to make it personal, and then that's when it got ugly. But if you find yourself losing sleep over what people say about you or say to you, yeah, then you have to be strong enough to go seek help, because you do need help, and you're not going to get it from your tormentors. So you have to go outside of that circle to get it. That's my public commercial or information response.
Sometimes you just got to shut their mouth for them. If they don't know how to shut their mouth,
I'm trying to
that'll
tell
stop it too. I don't need help no more. I help myself and I punch through your shit. And we established now that's not the way I need to be dealt with.
Yeah. All right. That's a good segue, B. So we're gonna go to question number 7. Ladies, turn your mic on. As a child, did you bully your siblings, or did your siblings bully you? Patsy?
I wasn't much for bullying for in the house, let alone let somebody outside the house bully me or me bully them. There was a couple times my sister tried to bully, but I wasn't having it because that's who I am, so yeah.
Itima?
I hate bullies. I don't bully nobody, and I don't get bullied, and I don't play like that. I hate bullies.
That's a strong word.
So failings. Kiana?
Yeah, no, there was no bullying in our house. So, first of all, our parents wasn't having that. And the most I couldn't stand is that I had to take her everywhere with me, which I thank my father for making me do that, because like I said, we are we're the closest siblings that I know, except maybe twins. We don't we I mean, we might have some arguments or disagreements or whatever, but again, we talk almost every day. We go out at least once a week. um so no, there was definitely no bullying. Like I said, our parents was not having that. It wouldn't happen. Not a cousin come over and start doing anything. Their ass would have got beat and then sent home. So nope, none of that.
Like that approach. All right, gentlemen, turn your mics on. Bert, did you get bullied by your sibling or did you bully him?
So we got bullied when I was younger by Danny. Then, you know, tides changed. We got older. We kind of moved our own separate beats. But I think that I got bullied by not just home. I got bullied by everybody outside. And then I ended up becoming a bully. So it is fucked up, but you know, it was a learned behavior. I figured out that was the way to get what I needed because that's the way those people did with me and got what they needed. And I became a bit of a bully and, you know, I don't like it, but that was part of my upbringing to teach me, to learn me. And I'm not that way. I don't like to be that way. I don't try to be that way, but it put me in a position to be that way because that was the very foundation of our first learnings was at home. So
I
I
don't
was
hate you,
bullied.
Bird.
I know. I was hurt. That's when you said it. Like I hate
I
them.
don't
Like
I don't hate
damn.
you. I don't hate you. I don't
I'm
hate
not
you,
that
Bird.
way no more. I can be very opinionated. I can be very, but I don't like physically or try to emotionally bully anything. But I definitely was that guy because I was a product of the environment I was in. That's what we did. That's what they did. The older kids bullied you. Steal your bag, your Halloween bag, your bread, steal your food stamps. You try to just go to the store and get a snack too, and you get bullied. And that was the project life.
Mhm.
It made me a bully. It made me very aggressive.
Well, you start to stand up for yourself.
Timmy,
Ah,
questions on you.
Well, I never bullied my damn sibling. Now, I did get bullied until, like Bird said, I fought back, and I was always once I started fighting back. Now, I'm going against bullies. I wanted to fight any bully that was out there bullying somebody. I wanted to fight, and now I'm able to fight back with the help of people that I grew up with. My cousin, the people that I lived in the building with. You know, so you know I was once I learned how to stand up for myself, then like Bird, I became a bully too now because now I could defend myself. Now I'm doing the same thing that they were doing to me, and it's only because someone did it to you. Now that you overcame what you've been through, you're putting somebody else through the same thing that you went through.
Robert, same question. Did you get bullied by your siblings or did you bully your siblings when you was growing up?
I don't think that I got bullied by my siblings. And if me trying to persuade my siblings into doing what's right, a little strong arming might have seemed like I was bullying them. But I only want the best out of them. Outside my home, I was bullied, but that only lasted for so long. When my father laid the pressure on me, I had become the SRM, the answer to this bully stuff out there. So I love to take on people that was bigger than me, wrestling or fighting.
Gregory?
Once again, all for one, one for all. We never used to be on some stuff like somebody's getting bullied here amongst us in our circle. No, that wasn't happening. Maybe we went out and did a little bit of bullying or protecting ourselves, but it never was like we're bullying one of our siblings and we know what's going on. Nah, that never happened. That's some sick stuff, no bold stuff. The kid that's being bullied in that situation is gonna have a mental disability. Once again.
Okay. Pause 1 second, Sean. I'm gonna come to you. Is Tanya still online?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, beloved. I'm sorry. I didn't know if you were still there, so I didn't even ask you this question. I think I skipped by you a couple of questions. Was you ever
Yeah, I
bullied?
was telling you that the background is too noisy, so I was just gonna listen.
Oh, okay. Well, I got you now, so it seems to be a little bit quiet. Do you want to answer this question? Was you ever bullied by your siblings, or did you bully them?
No and no.
Okay, Sean, it's on you.
No, there was no bullying in our family going on. That I don't even know what that was growing up.
Um, I'll answer this one too. Was there some bullying? Yeah, verbal. Um,
Shut up. You ain't watching this. We watching this right now.
yeah, there
Shut
was
up,
some
Robert. You smaller than us. You can't do shit.
there was some bullying.
Of course there
Um,
was.
my brother, my oldest brother, used to bully us when it came to playing the video game. Um, he used to bully us into doing things that got us into trouble. And then at one point, you heard Robert admit out his own mouth, he became a bully. So he tried that stuff. He tried to bully people.
What type of bully, though?
You said it.
I
You
was for the
spoke.
better.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was some bullying going on. Um, I I didn't tolerate it, but there was some bullying going on. Trust me.
You did. All of y'all done caught it.
Yeah, and
Somebody
this.
didn't get to watch their TV show. You're talking three brothers, one room, one TV. No.
Mhm.
Somebody got what they wanted and the other two had to shut up and deal with it. Sorry. Y'all can play that shit all you want.
I know they
I
don't
was
want to tell
there.
the truth. There was some
I was
bullying going
there
on.
pretty much almost 35 years of y'all life. So no. I've seen some shit. Cut it out.
I
So,
know there
so
was
could
some
I
bullying.
ask? Could I say this,
They're
Dave?
not being truthful, Bert.
When I told you I came and maybe it looked like it was strong arming and all that.
Okay, that bullying. Shut
All
up.
right,
That's what
no,
it
Exactly.
is.
I said that. I admitted
You're
that,
just trying to
but
reword it.
it was to bring the best out of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was to
And this
impose
brings
your
us to the
way.
next question.
It was imposing your way
Because
and what you wanted to happen.
this is a form of bullying too. Ladies, turn your mic on. Uh, Kiana, Patsy, Itima, turn your mic
See,
on. Kiana,
you
I'm coming
didn't
to
have
you
no damn
first.
TV. You wasn't fighting over TV because we had the TV in the room, TV in the living room, and
Oh,
we
cut
would
it
sit
out. You
when we yeah
always expose.
when we when we got the TV in the living room. That's where us boys was at. The girls they had the TV in the room,
And
and
because
my mother and father had their TV in their room, what they was watching. So when we had our TV in the living room, they had the room TV.
all right, so we're gonna move on. Y'all don't get defensive. I mean, Bird done already exposed y'all. He done told on y'all. So here we go. We are gonna go to number 8, and this one's gonna be interesting. Kiana, have you ever ostracized your sibling in an attempt to earn favor from your friends? Did you ever dog your sister so that you can be friends with or get the favor of y'all's friends?
No, what kind of no? I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to love my sister. Yes, again, we got on each other's nerves. We had one physical fight. My mother beat our ass, and that was uh, I don't know, like 40 something years ago. We ain't had a fight since. So no, it was not. I would never talk bad about my sister to
Yeah.
somebody else. For what? That's my sister. She can be my sister to the end. You might not be my friend tomorrow. No.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's my mother. Itima, it's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. I'm with there's no freaking way that I'm gonna expose it. It doesn't matter how much my brother may get on my nerves or he do whatever. There's no reason for me to sit there and badmouth him with his friend. Like, what? No.
Huh? Patsy?
Hell to the no. Because if I didn't care about your opinions as my friend, supposed to be my friend, why am I gonna sell my sister out to anybody they claim to be my friend or want to be my friend? Let's put it this way: blood is thicker than water, and as my supposed friend, you are watered down.
Okay. Robert, as a child, did you ever ostracize your sibling in an attempt to earn the favor of your friends?
I ain't never went against my siblings for my friends. My friends, if you have the right friends, you wouldn't be going against your siblings for them because you look at them as one of your siblings, a family member or something. So, no, there's no acting funny to get along with my friends and slight my family members. No, 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 I don't do none of that. We all gonna get along if you're around me, or just can't be. I don't need friends. If I have to compete with who's gonna win my love or have it more, the friend or the family member, my sibling, no. I didn't experience that. And if it was any sign of it, you know how I can become mute.
Mm.
Uh,
Timmy?
Nah, not gonna happen. Like Robert said, if you ain't getting even my friends that only the people that are around and like Bird ain't my friend. That's my brother. I told him that he's my brother. I adopted him as my brother. You know,
Woo.
so that's my brother for life. But we all had when we was growing up people that you know would pick on each other. But I've always felt like that was you know, preparing you for outsiders because I know one thing for sure that where we grew up, it was a community because everybody, if people have problems outside and everybody was together around, oh, best believe they all moved to go and fight for their family member that they grew up with. Cause that's how it was. Now we had fights and squabbles and arguments and whatnot, but outside, it was always we won.
Huh? Bird, now we're gonna hear from our brother from another mother. Bird, speak on your personal and then what you witnessed, if you saw any. As a child, did you ever ostracize your sibling in an attempt to earn the favor of your friends?
With Danny, I gotta say no, because me and Danny were 4 years apart. We were on our own grooves, you know. I mean, I can have early childhood memory, like 5, 6, 7 with my brother, but again, 4 years is a long time from 12 years old to 16 years old. You know, 10 years old to 14 years old. Those are too big, distance in time. So no, we didn't have the same friends. I
Huh?
don't believe I necessarily want to say I witnessed you guys as my brothers ostracize each other to gain anything from anybody. What I did learn from you guys is just how strong family could be. I learned what family was. So no, I don't believe that I've ever witnessed you guys do that to each other to gain anything, because you guys were part of a huge family where you didn't even need that outlet of friends. You had so many people in your life there to support and nurture your life that, I mean, I learned a lot growing up what it was like to have a family.
Huh?
I love it. I love it.
Gregory?
Once again, if you get the gist of what I was saying earlier, one for all for one. I'm not turning against my family for my friends. When this is something special, we're ushering you into what we got going on. If any one of us end up having a problem with one of you, it's going down. Once I just told you, we will get. There was no fair ones when I was growing up. It's a farewell, brother.
All right. Sean?
No, that never went on with any of my with any of my brothers. I mean, although we grew up together and we had, people that we knew alike, our circles weren't the same. So it was never any reason to even move like that if that was to have happened. But no, we didn't operate like that. We're family, and that's it. And if we had beef, it was internal, and it stayed inside. We never, we was brought up. What goes on in this house stays in this house. If you have an issue with your brother or your sister, you deal with it in this house. But when you're out in that streets, don't nobody know what's going on like that. So no, didn't move like that.
I'm
My
gonna
uncle
ask.
used to my uncle used to have when the family cousins and them had issues with one another, put those damn boxing gloves on. That's what they was doing.
Let me answer this question. So I applaud my mom and my dad because they didn't tolerate that. There was anybody they didn't tolerate that. Like Kiana said earlier about if there was a issue and an extended family member was present, they disciplined them too, because it was going to be known to everybody involved, this is not going to take place, not now, not ever. Now, my mom's and them, they didn't tolerate it, but there were some individuals, some strays, as Kiana would call them, that we invited into the pack, and they tried it. They tried to implement seeds of division through
Mm-hmm.
ridicule or just try to separate, but the
They
bond
found themselves
the
on the
bond
outside.
was too strong. And again, if they continue to dwell amongst us, they was the ones that soon became ostracized because once you was exposed, then that means everybody knew what you was about and you felt it. But I can't say that there wasn't people that tried to provoke it. Because there was people that tried to instigate it. But again, yeah, I'll just say we stuck together, especially when it came to that. If we had an issue in the house, the only reason why it got outside the house, because that's where it spilled out to. But even still, you gotta be careful about getting involved in family issues because it could turn bad for you real quick. All right, this is a good one. And this is a good one right here. I believe, let me see, what's this? All right, ladies, turn your mic on. Hmm. Number 9. Would you ever allow danger to befall your sister or your brother due to sibling discourse? So would you ever knowingly allow something to happen to your sibling because you and them are squabbling, you got an issue with them? Chief?
No, never. First of all, the sister that's closest to me is like she's like my first kid. So I would never let that happen. And then my other siblings, they're younger than me, and I I am their bigger sister. So even though my brother is 6'4", I would jump in front of him to protect him, even though I'm 5'3.5". So no, never.
Hmm. Okay. Patsy?
Oh heck no, I wouldn't. I don't care how much we argue. Um, I would defend my sibling, both my siblings, cause like that sibling bond is a whole lot stronger than the discord you will ever have with them siblings. It's like they you can't break that bond unless it's through death. You cannot break that bond. Even at that, I don't think that bond is ever going to be broken.
Right. Itima?
What was that question again? Sorry, because I kind of like.
Would you ever allow danger to befall your sibling due to sibling discourse?
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Yeah, none of my siblings, nor my peoples, is gonna get hurt in front of me. Mm-mm.
All right, gentlemen, turn your mics on. Bert, you got the question, or you want me to repeat it?
I'm good. I don't believe I don't think I've done ain't nobody gonna hurt my family in front of me. Maybe even you get it away with it with I'm not being there. I mean, even I guess I'm down for whatever, even if my sibling is wrong. You're not gonna hurt my sibling. I mean, I had to deal with some shit and my brother told and fuck it, it was wrong, but ain't none of y'all gonna touch him. So if y'all want smoke, come get it. And nothing ever happened, but he did wrong and it was wrong and I think it was some bullshit, but again, it's my blood. You're not gonna hurt my brother, even though he fucked up.
Okay. Gregory, same thing. You feuding with your brother. You gonna allow something bad to happen to him because y'all are at odd ends. You're not agreeing.
I'm sticking with my guns again. It's not gonna happen like that.
Timmy.
That's a negative. Anywhere I went, anybody that came with me, we getting back to where we came from safely. That's a that's affirmative on that.
Huh? Robert?
If me and my sisters is having a disagreement, that don't have any weight on protecting our well-being. So if you thought you was coming into a little argument of siblings and you thought you was going to capitalize on it, you guys to be kidding yourself. You're liable to take a double team, triple team, 5-on-1. We might be experiencing getting locked up ourselves, because you're going to get harmed. And I mean harmed in the worst way, because there's nothing more stronger than our blood for each other, our love.
Huh? Sean?
Yeah, I'm with the panel on this one. Whether I'm speaking to a sibling or not, that has nothing to do with it being open season for outsiders to talk trash or bring harm towards them. Not on my watch. Not at all.
Yeah, I agree totally. I mean, it's like, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? Yes. Am I my sister's keeper? Yes. All across the board. And I pray they feel the same way. Because again, if you got my love, that means you got my trust. Even if you disappoint me, that doesn't change. I mean, I believe in unconditional love. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for correction, but it ain't gonna be an outsider to do it. And it's definitely not gonna be something where I'm going to turn a blind eye to someone harming any of my loved ones. Nah. Because if you do it and I'm not present and I find out, call me whatever you want to call me, but I'm telling. That's all you gotta know is I'm telling. You ain't gotta worry about who told I told. Because if I'm allowed to do what I want to do to you, then someone else is gonna be telling the story about what I did. So let's go to question number 10. I believe it is. You guys are doing good. Um, let's go to question number. Yep, it's question number 10. Oh, this is a good one. Is it possible to despise your sibling or be despised by your siblings due to failed expectations? Ladies, turn your mics on. Patsy, let's go to you first, then Itima, then Kiana.
Move.
Um, can you explain that question a little bit?
So, is it possible for you to dislike someone based upon because they failed to meet your expectations? They did not live up to what you wanted them to do.
um, I might dislike their options in life, but I would still enjoy their company because, like me, they are who they are. And no matter what they did in their lives, that's what they did, I can't control what they choose to do or choose not to do. I still love them as my siblings.
All right. Itzma?
Yeah, that's not my place, you know, to say like, I'll probably be, I'll be sad that someone didn't make it to where I thought they might have, where I know they could have been. But I can't dislike them. You know what I mean? Like, that's their decision. That's what they decide to do. You know, I can voice it, let them know. Because the thing is, when you love somebody, you let them know you tell them what they have to hear. You don't tell them what they need to hear. You understand? What they want to hear.
Right.
You know, and that's what happens a lot. People give people what they want to hear. Don't do that to me. If you love me, tell me the truth. Give me what I need. Give me what you get what I'm saying? People do that a lot. That ain't cool.
Love it, love it. Key?
Yeah, I mean, despise what your sibling does. I mean, unless they did something really bad, no. I mean, I would be disappointed or um I don't even want to say upset. Disappointed and when I know you could do better and you don't do better, but like Itzma said, I'm not one for keeping my mouth closed. So I'm gonna tell you, and then that would probably be the last time you would hear that from me, unless what you're doing keeps coming up. Then I might whisper it subliminally, stupid moves, stupid stuff. But I'm not gonna never speak to you or despise you unless you do something really, really harmful or dangerous to me, which I know my sibling wouldn't do. So no, my siblings wouldn't do.
Huh? Robert?
Sorry, ask me that question again.
Is it possible to despise your sibling or be despised by your siblings due to failed expectations?
I mean, if your expectations for someone is set at a high level, yes. But you always got to remember everyone in life is going to fail at something. They might not be good at what you want them to be good at or do what you know or think they can get done. But they're going to have a chance to fail at something just like you did. So your expectations for them, you might have to kind of lower it so you won't be so upset or disappointed. Because remember, we're all going to fail at something. It's what you do to recover.
Okay. Gregory?
Wait a minute.
Bird, you care to go before Gregory?
I just heard that, but last week we just had a conversation when I, mentioned about failure and everybody was, oh my God, don't look at it that way. Yes. Thanks, Bob. You just hypocritically changed your story with me. Fucker.
Hold,
That
go on, finish.
no,
Go on and finish. I
it
normally
was
don't
it
do
was
this, but you're
it was just
calling
on
me.
the aspect of not looking at things as failure. But when your last sentence, everybody, including every single person on this panel, including every single person that this panel knows, someone has failed somewhere. So failure is a part of life. Without failure, you don't know what success is. You have to fail in order to succeed. And that's
Now,
just life.
now,
Now
could I
go
get
ahead.
could I give a rebuttal to what
Go
I
ahead.
said when that came up at that time about saying a child has failed and calling a child a failure? I said don't do that. I said because he might have just failed at that particular thing. But there's always something in life that he can do that he will not be a failure at. Um, because that was something you wanted this person to excel at. That don't mean that they was loving to continue to do such. So I said, he's not a failure. He just he fell and he could get up and try it again or try something else. Because there's always
Yeah.
something else to do. You fail at one thing, try something else. If you want to try that thing that you failed at already, that's your preference. You can do so. But there's so many other things in life for you to try to succeed in.
All right. So we're gonna go back to the initial question. Gregory, are you still with us?
Gregory's helping grandma.
Okay, Josie, would you like to answer the question?
What's the question?
Is it possible to despise your sibling or be despised by your sibling due to failed expectations?
I guess it would be depending on who and what expectations they are, right? Some of us don't know what people are expecting from us, so you don't know if you're feeling or not. So if there's not a list and rules for us to follow, then you're pretty much going probably to fail. But if I think that when you love each other as siblings, period, there should always be room for failure, period.
Good answer. Good answer. Uh, Sean?
Um, yeah, I definitely can be disappointed that they may not be doing what it is that they're supposed to be doing. It's never what I expect them to do, but because I'll never put any of that on my siblings. But what I think, what I would be disappointed in is them not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay. Timmy?
Nah, I like Sean. I would be disappointed, but for me, you everybody have their choice to make, and sometimes the choice that they make don't work out. That doesn't make them a failure. Things didn't work out the way they thought it would. So, it, either you try something else, or you go rebuild and learn from your mistakes that went wrong in. But I don't never look at it as failure. It be disappointment, yeah, but a failure, nah. Things just don't work out the way you planned them to.
Okay. I'm gonna answer this one too. Is it possible to despise your siblings or be despised by your siblings due to failed expectations? Yeah, I agree with the panel about because everybody's using the word disappointment. Yep. Um, you live long enough, someone's gonna disappoint you. That's definitely gonna happen. So why not your family? And why not the people close to you? And that's the siblings. Those are the people that you was in the trenches with. Um, Anytime that I'm disappointed with my siblings, uh, due to them failing to meet my expectations, it's because I've never asked them to do anything that I wouldn't do or that I have not already done. So if I'm the person that's setting the bar, I believe it's achievable because I believe in them. I know what they're capable of doing. So I know when they're just totally just not trying when it comes to stuff. When some people will remove themselves from situations just so they won't even be presented with the option of failing, because they want to be perfect in a sense. Nah. Take a step up to the plate, take a swing at the ball. And if you strike out, then you strike out. At least you try. Now, where if you don't even try, then I got an issue with that. I got an issue with that. Let's go to question number 10. I mean number 11. All right, guys. We're gonna have to make these answers brief. All right.
Yeah, it's 9:15 now.
Yeah. Question number 11. Can you recall a childhood sibling slight that resulted in a full-fledged fight? Pat.
Yeah, that I remember one, and it was over whose turn it was to change the cat litter.
All right. Kiana?
What was I just dropped my glasses. What was the question again?
Can you recall a childhood sibling slight that resulted in a full-fledged fight?
I already told you that we had one fight. I don't remember what it was about. I know my cousin was there, and and when my mother thought she heard us tussling, she opened the door and we froze like we were the Looney Tunes. Just and like I said, she beat everybody's ass in that room. So we never fought again. I don't remember what it was about.
But you remember the ass whooping.
Yeah.
I sure do, because she went to the bathroom, I guess, to go. She went like she was going to the bathroom. The bathroom was near our thing, and I guess she thought she heard some tussling, and she opened that door like, "What the fuck? Oh no, I know my kids ain't fighting." And everybody's ass got beat.
And you know, I don't condone
Get down.
all that physical discipline, but I say I applaud her in that sense because see, the message was well
No,
received.
she beat everybody because my cousin should have stopped it. We should have
Do
never
not
been
spare
fighting.
the rod. Beat your kids in the Bible.
Get down. Get down. My cousin should have stopped it. We should have never been fighting. And she wasn't having that in her house. So nope.
Mhm.
Beat 'em.
And I probably was, I don't know, that probably was 15. And she was probably 12, right?
Beat 'em.
Yeah, probably about that.
Oh yeah, that was a fight.
Yeah. And like I said, she beat everybody's ass. And I fought with other people, but never with my siblings.
That's why you the way you are now, feisty. You like, I'm not gonna take no ass whoopings ever
Come to
again.
me.
Nope.
Itima, it's on you. Can you recall a childhood sibling slight that ever resulted in a full-fledged fight?
Is that to me? No.
Yes.
No. No.
Okay. That was easy. Tammy, 60 seconds.
What was the question again?
Can you recall a childhood sibling slight that resulted in a full-fledged fight?
Oh no, no.
Robert?
Me personally, if it was something small, a little argument, and there was no physical competition, I'm gonna go ahead and say no because a fight for me is when somebody's getting suplexed on their neck, power bomb, kicked in the face or the chest, blood's dripping. That's a fight. All this little push and walk past somebody or said a word or something, that's not a fight.
I told y'all, didn't I tell y'all earlier? There
What
was
about if you slice someone with a knife when your mother goes out for shopping?
And,
hold on.
and to give a rebuttal to that because it was thrown my way, I was a child that liked to hide in the home and scare my siblings. I was a
Oh God.
child I was a child that if you said or did something to me and then take off running, no, don't do that. Stand there and face the consequences. Why run? I can't be chasing you all around the house and all that. So whatever I had, I used it as a dart.
Right? It's on you.
I don't I think the one altercation, full blown fight, it was just I was fed up. It was one of the topics. You're not gonna talk to me like that. You're not just gonna say what you want. I'm not that guy anymore.
And
Bow.
Danny beat your ass.
You wish. You don't even participate. I shared that story.
Green light,
I had
green
to,
light.
I had to clean Danny up, and that changed the dynamics of our relationship. So was it productive? No, because it changed our relationship as brothers. But
Mm.
at the time, it was productive. Doty.
All right. Josie, I guess you're standing in for Gregory, so you can answer the question. Do you recall a childhood sibling slight that resulted in a full-fledged fight?
I don't remember really what it was about, but yeah.
Maria whooped that ass.
Yep, she did. She definitely did. Beat my
Let
ass so bad that I never wanted
Big
to
Sis
challenge
know.
her again.
Yep, let Big Sis know. Bust your
What a lie. I'll tell the story, but I don't really remember what it was about, but it definitely resulted in a physical altercation that I will never, and me and my sister both know, we will never allow it to get to that level again.
Mm, beautiful. Sean.
Um, gee, I don't think. Yeah, we had one when my younger brother. We had one altercation like that that got physical that didn't last too long because we were 3 years apart, and at the time I was much bigger than he was, and that was my thing. I loved to fight, and I can recall it like it was yesterday. He tried to leap across the room at me. I caught him in dead air and tried to choke the life out of him. My
That
dad was
sounds
trying to
about right,
and my
Sean. That
dad
sounds
and my
about right,
dad was
Sean.
trying to choke me.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
Okay.
caught him.
Oh, shit. Go ahead. Mm. You
No,
got
that
more,
that was
Sean?
it. Nope, that was it. It ended with me choking him. My dad was choking me, and my mom was trying to pull on my dad. It was a mess, but that was the first and only
ready.
and last altercation family wise that we ever had on that spectrum.
All right. I'm
Over
gonna
something
answer this.
stupid too.
I'm gonna answer this question too. I do recall a couple of situations with the elder and the younger, but they got amnesia. They suppressed a lot. But yeah, we had our moment. But I will tell you about this moment that all of us is. It's an old folk tale. There was a time where there was an instigator, and the younger brother liked it, the girl that I was
Oh shit.
in a childhood relationship with, and
Heating up.
the instigator uh caused a situation where the girl ended up walking away from both me and him, and the younger brother decided that he was going to get in a full out fight with the director of the YMCA's desk. He put a hurting on that desk because I wasn't going to fight with him. I told him right away, I'm not doing this. So he went in there and he destroyed that lady's desk. He threw everything off the desk and everything. And Timmy said to him in turn, Robbie, your ass is going home. And that was the end of that was named. So again, now I would tell you this. And if the instigator has the pleasure of listening to this on a later date, I'll say what I said back then and what I'm going to say now. That person should have been the recipient of an ass whooping. I'm just going to say it. That's how I felt. And we're going to move on to question number 12.
Can I answer that question,
You
Dave?
sure? You go ahead.
I didn't have any incidents with a sibling because I was pretty much raised as a single child. I'm raised on my own, but I did have instances like that with cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother didn't allow us to fight outside the home. I think Sean said something about that earlier, because what goes on when you outside, you have to provide a united front.
Mm-hmm.
But inside the house, a male cousin and I got into a fight, and his sister and I got into a fight outside the house while my grandmother was away. And she came home and saw us fighting outside. And when we went inside the house, we got our asses towed up because she didn't tolerate that. But myself and my male cousin, we fought. We really had a fisticuff inside the house. It was pretty bad. They had to break us up because I wasn't gonna allow him to. He was a boy and I was a girl, and I wasn't gonna allow him to get the better of me. But they had to break us up.
Yeah, he should have got his ass whooped. You know how I feel about that. I don't condone that male beating of any female sibling, whatever. I just don't. I got an issue with that. Tanya, I'm gonna let you
Oh no,
answer.
Dave, because freaking one of our cousins, his sister used to always fight his battles,
Mhm. Well,
female and dude.
Well, he needed it, and that's probably why he's so angry with women to these days. Because his sister fought all his battles, so he figured he just gonna take it out on all women because she made him look bad. But I digress. We're gonna move on to the last question. Tanya, I'm gonna let you answer the last question first. Ladies, turn your mic on. Um, as an adult, do you harbor any ill will towards your siblings?
As an adult,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm gonna say before I reconciled my feelings with my father about this situation, I'm gonna say, yeah, I kind of did harbor some ill feelings, not for lack of love, but like I had mentioned in the post, it was more out of I'm gonna say jealousy.
Put this on your head.
I'm gonna say jealousy. Like I said, my father wasn't in my life consistently when I was growing up. When I became a teenager, I came to live with him, but he was already a father to a full-fledged family, and I felt like they got more out of the relationship with him than I did. And to this day, I feel like my brother relationship with him was closer than my relationship with him. So um I wouldn't say ill feelings. I would say a little. I don't even want to say resentment or jealousy. It's just a little. I wish that our relationship could have been a little closer.
Gregory Lacey has left the meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. Patsy, as an adult, do you harbor any ill will towards your siblings?
No, because whatever arguments or disagreements we had as children, we left it there. That was done and over. This is a new day. We're in a new space, so why hold on to that mess? Let's live in love.
Love it. Love it, love it.
Everybody might be mad at you.
All right, we're going to go to Itima next. You still with us?
Bird has left the meeting.
Yeah.
All right, Itima. So the question is, as an adult, do you harbor any ill will towards your siblings?
I kind of do because he won't step up. Like he still takes advantage of it, but he knows because I word it to him all the time. So like when I'm saying things right here, I'm not talking about my brother behind his back. He knows every single feeling and everything I'm saying right now on this panel. He knows.
Okay. Respect. Duchess, as an adult, do you harbor any ill will towards your siblings?
No, not even a sister who she's estranged from the family. I hold no ill will towards anyone.
One more time, Duchess, you faded out.
I'm sorry. I said no, I don't. Not even my sister who's estranged from the family. Don't hold any ill will towards anybody.
Okay, love it. Thank you. All right, gentlemen. Okay. Uh, let's see who's still with us. Robert, as an adult, do you harbor any ill will towards your siblings?
Absolutely not. And I hope they feel the same way.
Respect, respect. Tim, same question.
Never have, never will.
Respect. I think Bird left and Gregory left. Sean, it's on you.
No, sir, none whatsoever.
Okay. I guess I answered this question.
I got an answer.
Who's that?
It's
That's
Josie.
special.
Oh, you came back. All right, Josie.
I don't have none of that. I don't even know what that is. However, I do want, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, get your shit together.
Respect. All right. So if there's not anybody else, I'm gonna go ahead and answer. All right. Do I harbor any ill will towards my siblings as an adult? No. Can't afford to. Too busy living life. Too blessed to be stressed. That's the way I see it. You know,
Amen.
I ain't got time for the nonsense. I'm trying to live as long as I can. I want to enjoy life and I want to enjoy everything that comes with life. Take the good and the bad. But I will say this because I feel like this is very vital and this is going to help someone grow. So pay attention and please, please don't interrupt me. So again, as I said, the inner child is a very, very, very sensitive psyche, right? So, and all of us have it. So what happens is the inner child, if it is not handled correctly, any mismanagement can force that child, that inner child, to be a constant factor. So in order to deal with that, you have to get your inner child the necessary attention. You need to give it a hug. You need to give it the acknowledgement that it deserves so that you, as an adult, can grow up and be the person that God has called you to be. But you must be respectful, everybody that's paying attention and watching those people just battle with that. Everybody is not where you are in life. They have not gotten to that point. and you have to respect that. But the people that are not at the level that everybody else is, you have to respect them too, because they did not stall your progress. That is on you. You have to do the work. You have to ask for help. And once the help is offered, you have to utilize it. You have to take full advantage of it. So I would say this to you guys in closing: health is wealth. This is the Still a Man podcast. Thank you guys. See you next week.